Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Thoughtworks, for inviting me. And this is actually my second XConf. I actually spoke in 2019, before the pandemic. It seems like a lifetime ago. In that one, which I remember is at a Capitol building, I remembered when I spoke. It was the last keynote, and half the conference was gone. Right? It was kind of demoralizing. So I think this round is like, I need to be the first guy. So nobody leaves, right? So everybody stays for my talk, right? So again, thank you. And some of you might have actually heard this talk from me before. So please don't leave. Just stay around and mix around and have fun today, like what the host was telling you guys just earlier on. So today I wanted to share a little bit about how we do, or we try to engineer a digital government with AI. And I want to start off with this slide. So I know I can't see most people here, but anyone knows who this person is? Maybe we can just do a shout out. Nobody? Oh, okay. Thank you very much, whoever just spoke. Yeah. So this is Sir Tim Berners-Lee, and he invented the web. So the web is what most people know of today as the internet, but actually the internet was a very different kind of thing before the web, right? So I'm not sure how many of you actually use Archie, Gopher. I think many of you will probably have used FTP before, right? So those are the kind of tools that existed in internet before the web. But today, everybody knows the internet as of the web. And one thing the web did that brought to the internet that didn't exist before that was the huge amount of commercialization, right? Of course, the web wasn't invented as a commercialization tool. In fact, Sir Tim Berners-Lee was an academic. He worked at CERN, and his main idea was really try to do an exchange of data, information. Somehow that translated into, like blinking likes on your web page and eventually something like Yahoo, Amazon, and so on, right? So e-commerce and so on, advertising. But the web literally changed the internet. And this is what I wanted to share with you guys today on how it actually parallels with what's happening today with generative AI, right? So AI has been around even before the internet, like since the 1950s and 60s. It has gone through a few waves. And even before ChatGPT became really popular just last year, you can imagine that, less than 6 months ago, maybe about 6 months ago, the technology behind it has been around since 2017. Right? So a lot of these things that we take as AI models today for large language models and so on were really here since the Transformers started coming. And that was only in 2017. But nonetheless, a lot of these things have changed since ChatGPT came on the scene, and basically everything exploded. But a little bit back to the web. Anyone recognize this cute little pet sock puppet? No? So this was pets.com, right? And pets.com was one of the many .coms that existed during that time, like excite.com, etoys.com, flus.com, boo.com. So it was all the .coms. And the ones that I just rattled off earlier on, they were the ones who got huge evaluations during the .com boom, and then afterwards they lost everything, right? So there's a moral to the story here. There's a huge hype, and then everything came crashing down. But not everything was doom and gloom, because these companies also came out during that time, the .com boom time. And you will notice here, this counts amongst the FANG or the MANG that exists today, right? Amazon, Netflix, Google, and PayPal, Expedia, Salesforce. So all these companies existed and started during the .com boom. So the thing that I really wanted to share with you today, the main message that I wanted to share is really that it is not really about hype, because the hype can come and go. And what is really important is how companies and organizations can use the technology and can deliver real value for your customers, for your users. And of course, you need to be sustainable, because even if you bring real value for your customers, for your users, if you're not sustainable in the longer run, then you go nowhere either. Right? So that was a main message, but I want to share next how we in GovTech try to engineer a digital government using AI. And I want to share with you 2 examples of how we do it. And these 2 examples are, maybe you can consider 2 extremes of how we use AI, and not all of these AI that I'm sharing today are generative AI. Right? In fact, the first one has something that's really, really mundane. For those of you in Singapore, you know that the food that we eat in Singapore, the nice food that you ate just now at breakfast, most of it don't come from Singapore. In fact, Singapore imports 90% of its food from all over the world. And this, you can see how critical this became from the pandemic that we just went through recently. When Malaysia decided to stop exporting live chicken to us, we went into like a chicken frenzy, a chicken buying frenzy, right? Everybody started to suddenly love chicken. I have no idea why, but everyone started love eating chicken and went to a frenzy. We laugh about it now, but yeah, you think about it, this is food, right? This is sustenance. So the Singapore Food Agency, which is a government agency in Singapore, launched a 30 by 30 strategy, a plan to produce at least 30% of the nation's local nutritional needs locally and sustainably by the year 2030. And with this program, we launched many, many different things, and one of those things is, in fact, fish farming. Right? So this is a picture of a fish farm. And as part of a fish farming process, it's really about creating or producing quality fish feed. So you do need to feed the fish, and especially when they are larvae, you need to feed the fish with zooplankton. One of the zooplankton that is popularly used is something called a rotifer. They are basically small marine organisms that usually serve as live feed for fish farms. So when we try to ramp up this production for this, the fish farms will definitely need more fish feed, and we will be stuck if we are not able to scale, right? Just as you build systems and you scale, as fish farms grow, we also need to scale. Part of the process in breeding rotifers, right? So you breed rotifers either in big tanks and cultures, but you do need to maintain it to be, you need to maintain it and you need to keep it healthy. One of the ways that is done is really to inspect it on a daily basis. You need to take a sample out, and like this picture shows, you need to look at it under a microscope and literally count the number of live and healthy rotifers. Right? So this is literally the image of what you would see, or what the person would see. And you look carefully at her right hand, she's actually holding a counter, and she will be counting. Right? So obviously this is laborious. This, you also need to be keen-eyed, right? Unfortunately, if you're wearing glasses like me, maybe not so much. And it's very strenuous. So it takes about 40 minutes for a person to do that. And if you need to do it every day, then scalability becomes an issue. So this is where we came in. We actually went in to help the Singapore Food Agency, and we trained an AI model to help to drive this from 40 minutes to 1 minute. From a trained person, somebody needs to be literally trained to identify what is a rotifer, what is not rotifer, because there are a lot of debris as well within the culture, right? And then it will identify the rotifer, and it will do a count. Let me show you a video of how this is done. So this is actually in a Telegram bot, and somebody basically just needs to take a picture of it. You upload it to the Telegram bot, and the model will do a count, and it will tell you how many there are. Right? So this is real value. This is real value of AI in the real world, because nothing is more practical and important than to bring food to the table cheaper and faster. And this is the real usage of AI. Now let me quickly switch to something else, which I think, it's very close and dear to my heart. And in a conference about software for developers, I think it should be something that you'll be interested in as well. So, as software engineers, we always want to dog food our products. We want to use it and figure out how we can better use it. And what better way to use AI than as a code assistant, right? To help us to code better, code faster, and to even learn more about things that we didn't know before. So what we did was we built Ghost, which is an experimental tool. So it's experimental, and we want to use AI to make our lives better and easier. Right? It can help us to generate code, to create test cases, figure out bugs, and even tutor us. It runs on your laptop. It works with OpenAI. It works with Azure. It works with Google for now. And I was experimenting with it last night, and I got it to run with Llama 2. So it can work with different models. Let me just quickly show you how it works. I ask, who are you? You tell me who it is. Ask it to read from a file. Very often we get code from somebody else, and we are supposed to take over it, but we have no idea what it does. You can pass it to Ghost. It will read the code, and it will tell you what it does. It will help you to create test cases. It will also help you to optimize it if you want to do it. So obviously, this is what the model that you use think isn't optimal, right? So is it really optimal? Then that really has to depend on you, right? Because at the end of the day, you are in control. You are in full control. It can also, let me show you another example. You can also use Ghost to access databases. Here, I take a URL from somewhere random place on the internet, and I plug in the URL for the database. And basically, what the Ghost does at the back is it generates SQL code, and you use the same code to query the database, and you return the data. Okay, so let me go next. Another thing that Ghost can help you to do is, and you notice all of these things are files in your laptop, right? It can help you to analyze CSV files. And here I took the data from the HDB, from data.gov.sg, HDB resale flat information from 2017 to 2022. And I asked it some questions like how many resale flats were there in 2017, what's the average price, and then I do a comparison with it, right? So all these are files that are on your laptop, right? So if you pair that with, say, a local model that's on your laptop, basically everything is within your laptop. Let me show you one final example. So this reads a document, right? So as software engineers, we are often asked to also review CVs and do interviews. We try to read the resumes, but there could be a lot of them. So you could also use Ghost to read the resumes and summarize really quickly for you. If you don't know how he looks like, you can ask it to hey, how does he look like? Right? And it will search Google Images, and it will return the images for you. And yeah, this is how I used to look like, right? Unfortunately. And then you can also use that to read image documents. So here I took a receipt from a clinic visit I did a few months ago, and I used it to scan, and you extract the information. You understand that I spent like $40 for medicine, and what kind of medicine it is. And it can also search on the internet to retrieve information about what kind of medicine I actually took. Right. So this is an experiment. This is by no means the end of the thing. When I started it, I just used just one. I just opened AI, then I added on different models to it. And as I mentioned, we now play with Llama 2 running the 70 billion version on our own infrastructure. We are running the 7 billion ones also on the laptop, and trying out different variations, and doing many, many different things with it. So I wanted to end this session by explaining that, or by telling you guys that about this technologies that we are talking about today. It's not really about the technology. I think very often we think that, there's this new technology, it's really fun, we want to play around with it, and so on, and it is. But at the end of the day, it's not really about the people, not really about the technology, but it's really about the people, right? It's about you guys. It's about you and how you innovate, how you take the technology and experiment with it and play around with it and do stuff with it. And one final note is, if you notice a lot of these pictures inside here, you probably realize that there are many of them which are generated by Gen AI, right, by now. It's like, obviously, I did not draw that, and no one actually helped me draw this either, But one thing you did not realize is actually there are even images that I showed earlier on, like the one from that showed of Sir Tim Berners-Lee. It was also modified by Gen AI, right? So I think one thing we should be thinking about is how can we take the technology that we have today and make better use of it in our daily lives and experiment more with it. So I thank you for joining me today, and I wish you a great day of learning and connecting. Thank you.